going on? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. Happy New Year's. First day of the year. Got to get our first episode in and start off things right this year. So, obviously, as always, I got my man to my left, my right, rather. Thaddeus Bell, my co-host. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. First show of the year, recapping a great Saturday and hopefully a better Sunday for me. But I'm glad to, start the year off the right way.
For sure. Like you said, Saturday games yesterday is probably what first time college football history we actually had. I won't say first time, maybe second time because I can't remember. Maybe I think the first year, but that we actually had two competitive games. It didn't look like it was gonna start out that way, honestly, with both of them. But obviously ended up being two really, really good games. Came down to the wire. And like you said, definitely got to get into it. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. Some of the, important games, Week 17, playoff implications. Obviously, we got one more week and then playoffs is around the corner for NFL. But before we get into all of that, of course, I'll let the tape roll.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm going to set it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer!
Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing to man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game is the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. Make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. It seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game.
Me.
To me.
All right. And we're back. Like I said, first thing we're going to hit on, of course, Michigan, TCU, first college football game the day yesterday. So just first thoughts that what did you think of this matchup coming in, and then what did you think of the overall game?
Coming in, I thought what everybody else thought, that Michigan was going to pretty much not completely dominate the game, but TCU had played around a lot with opponents, a lot of late comeback victories in Michigan over the course of the season. Like when they got a lead, they pounced on opponents. They didn't let up. They blew opponents out. Penn State comes to mind for one. But TCU's, their front seven is a little underrated, and they had a lot of players, show up yesterday. I thought Michigan was going to dominate in the trenches, and they didn't. They had some good runs, some good plays, but besides the first play of the game, they didn't have too much going on in the run game. And for the longest, I know TCU's, this is their scheme and it works, but for the longest, I was like, man, why are they coming out in a 3-3 stack against a power-heavy run team? Like, this is not going to work. But the gap fits that the linebackers and, D linemen had, they controlled their gaps, and that's vital when you run a defense like that. But overall, just great game, man. Back and forth, like, all right, at halftime, I'm thinking, okay, this game's going to get away. But in the back of my mind the whole time, like Michigan, they're going to come back. They don't have the offense built to, recover from 14 to 21-point leads, but they found a way. And J.J. McCarthy, I will say this, like, I think he has a bright future, even though he had two costly pick six, which ended up being the deciding factor in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He made a lot of good throws, a lot of good throws to keep him back in the game, use his legs like he did all season. But, I mean, overall, just great game. You really couldn't ask for more to start the playoff off, honestly. 44 points, I think, in the third quarter, which has to be
yeah, I think they said it was either first or second most
gotta
in
be a
college
bowl
football playoff
record.
history. Yeah, it was up there. And then
just
Georgia
exciting,
and
man.
Ohio State was up there too. I think their second quarter. So
Yeah, nah, it was crazy. But just overall good game. TCU executed. I honestly still feel like Michigan was a better team, but in these games you can't make mistakes, and 2 pick sixes end up costing them. But shout out to TCU for being able to run that 3-3 stack and run it effectively. Because when you play somebody like Michigan, even Georgia, like I don't know. Hopefully they switch it up, but if it works for them, keep doing it. But shout out to TCU. Max Dugan, it didn't look that pretty in the stat book, but he made a lot of big time throws as well. Wish he would have got a little bit more help from his receivers, but it is what it is. TCU moves on. And D Winters, who they're showing right there, I think that's D Winters. He had a hell of a game. His draft stock is going through the roof. He made plays. He was literally sideline to sideline, making plays in the run game and the pass game all game. So shout out to D Winters. But no, great game overall. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. Honestly, I would say great game. I thought it was about to be a runaway because I started off watching at home and then I went out a little bit for New Year's. So when I left the house, I think it was 21-3 or 21-6. Then I turned back on. It was like 41-30. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like like Michigan actually making a game. Like I knew they were like eventually, like you said, they have certain things that work for them. And obviously, I thought their defense would help bring them back into it, but. Like you said, those 2 costly pick sixes is really what was the deciding factor of the game. Like you said, Buddy was sideline to sideline for sure. But other than that, like you said, Max Dugan really like balled out, made some great time throws, like the one they scored a TD, I think they go up 21-3. And then also, a lot of big runs in the or a lot of big plays with his legs. They run that pretty much, play action whole time, RPO whole time, and then a lot of just run pass options, and then him just using his legs a lot of times to extend the play or get costly for third downs conversions for him. So, Max Dugan definitely balled out, like you said. I think, I don't know if they'll get more help from his receivers this upcoming matchup, because Georgia's secondary like that. Even though they showed that they could be had yesterday. Yesterday they was getting kind of picked apart a little bit. So. I guess both teams got things to tighten up on before, their matchup in a few weeks. But like you said, TCU definitely came out, dominated, did something that a lot of us didn't think they could. Some people didn't even think they should have been third. Probably should slip down to fourth. We talked about that already, obviously. But like you said, it's good to see, and it's also good showing like we don't always have to have just these powerhouse teams in college football. Like I'm glad that TCU had the season that they had, even though losing in their Big 12 championship, still able to slide into that third spot and gave us a game yesterday. Now they got a chance at a national championship, which most people probably barked at.
Nobody predicted, man.
Yeah,
Nobody.
exactly. So it's definitely a good game, and like hoping for one more good game to make it just a good, probably the best overall college football playoffs that we've seen so far since its era has started. But yeah, I know you want to add something before we move on to the next game.
Yeah, just to talk about the game a little more, like both quarterbacks in the stat book, it didn't look that great, but the resiliency on both sides was crazy. Like every time in that third quarter, every time Michigan answered, Dugan came down and made a big time throw, whether it was to Quentin Johnson or somebody else. He just made a lot of big time throws. And then JJ McCarthy, like a lot of people, if they throw 2 pick sixes, they're in their own head. Yeah. They get trigger happy. They don't want to throw the ball. He was still letting it rip, making a lot of plays. So it was just good to see him for both teams. Honestly, the quarterback play wasn't that great in the stat book, but I was impressed by how they bounced back and kept their composure in a crazy hostile environment. Because your emotion can get the best of you. You throw a pick six, you let your team down, and you're not really feeling it anymore. You're trigger happy or whatever, but I don't know. I have no idea, but it led into honestly the best game of the day. Yeah. UGA and Ohio State. So let's get on that part.
Yeah, so what you about to segue into, and of course, shout out to our guy, brother Mo. I know it hurts.
I feel for you, bro.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think you were gonna say something for a few days, but glad you did. Glad you're alive and well. We gotta still check up on Jeff. If you want to come in and let some feelings out while we talk about this, we can do that. I'll send you the link real quick, but like that said, segue into Georgia versus Ohio State. Like you said, one of the another great game of the day. Obviously, got the game-winning touchdown catch right here. But just thoughts again. Everybody thought this would obviously be the better of the two matchups. And then even like closer to the start of the game, I started hearing a lot more rumblings like Ohio State, like they're playing with house money. They really don't got much to lose, which makes them dangerous. So feel like a lot of people started to switch and say they were gonna take it, and they came out the gates and it looked like, yeah, this Ohio State team is different. CJ Stroud's playing different. Like they really can take off and they might win this game handily. But of course, that championship pedigree, Georgia always fighting back. Stetson Bennett, underdog his whole life, fought back, got him back in the game. Even down 14 points in the fourth quarter, it really looked like it could have been over. Like just one or two key more plays from the Buckeyes, but Georgia's defense stepped up. Stetson made some plays, and ended up being a 42-41 game. But that, what do you think about it?
Great game overall, man. I feel like I said before the show, I felt like I was an Ohio State fan going through that. Obviously, I picked them to win and I bet on them, but it was just a great game, man. Like coming into the game, I did say that Georgia will struggle a little bit because Ohio State's not like many teams they've played. They can be one-dimensional and be successful. Like they don't have to run the ball to set up the pass because you got Abuka and you got Harrison Jr. on the outside that can make plays and win against a really good secondary. And I did say going into the game, Ringo, he would. I can't say on air what I said, but I said he'd have a rough day. And he did indeed. But I was just impressed with CJ Stroud. I was already high on him coming in, to the game. But he finally, like I mentioned in the chat, he finally used his legs, putting that fear on the defense, maybe whether it's in the run game or even when he dropped back to pass, like they put a spy on him because he's a threat to run. That does so much to the defense, and it takes an extra defender away to maybe in coverage or whatever. But great game from him overall. I thought Ryan Day was very aggressive at times when he needed to be. I loved it, honestly. Just a great game, honestly, on both sides. UGA, it looked like it was going to be a blowout. They came back through a couple punches. When they went up 24-21, I was like, this is when we're really going to see what Ohio State's about. 24-21, you're in Atlanta. It's really a road game for you. And for you to be able to keep your composure and just keep fighting back shows a lot. I was just impressed with the gameplay on both sides. CJ Stroud won him some money. If he's not the number one pick, he's going to be the number 2 pick or a top 3 pick. I don't think he gets out of there. Man, but it's just a tough way to lose. I will say to play the game. Well, Stetson, I will say this, for him to play, not have his best game and then, show when they needed to in the last 2 quarters shows a lot on his resiliency. He's been through a lot in his college career and stuff like that shows up in moments on the field. But I say to play the game was when Kirby Smart called that timeout before the fake punt. The momentum just completely shifted and stuff like that matters. You see something you don't like, you need to make an adjustment. That's what coaches are there for. That's the film prep. He saw something that he saw on film and he made an adjustment during the timeout and it ended up, changing the course of the game. But I just feel for Ohio State, man. Like the game lived up to the hype. I don't think UGA's defense has got shredded like this. LSU put up points, but maybe the last time they got shredded like this was when they played Bama in the SC championship and they lost. So great game overall, man. But I don't want to blame the kicker, man, but you got to you literally spend 30, 40 minutes during practice just kicking the ball, kicking it in the net, different left hash, right hash, game on the line. They practice these situations all the time. And for him to shank it like that, man, I feel for him, though, because I know he's going to get some threats, from some crazy fans that don't really have a life. But you got to come through. That kick wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, if it was like at least close to like the upright or something, like maybe it'd been a little different. But like the way it just like I don't know who put it in the chat, but they put the little Madden thing, when they used to have the airhorn bars all the way to the side. That was hilarious. But nah, man, like you said, that I think they said that timeout probably gonna go down in the history of just that coaching in general because that junk was crazy because that literally that easily saved the game. They get that, they pick that up, game's over, like no doubt about it. So like you said, I think they said like their line was shifted and obviously like more like a direct snap and nobody was like over on that one side. So great, like you said, great heads up play by Kirby Smart to call that timeout for sure because that was it. If not, let me see what else I remember seeing. I was saying I'm about to see it because I know I sent the link. I don't know if Mo's gonna come in or not. I'm sure in a second. Like say he's probably getting his notes together then.
He doesn't need notes, man. Everything that happened is stuck in his brain. I bet he remembers it play by play. Like when you have a tough loss like this, you remember every little moment that might have changed the game. But just that, while we wait on Mo for a second, I don't know. Like obviously Smith and Jigba, would have helped, but man, that's all I can think about. I know he hadn't played the whole season, but like if they had him with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ibuka, I don't know what would have happened. Obviously it hurt not having him, down the stretch. On that, would you call it targeting?
I was about to say, I don't think it was targeting. I personally didn't think. Obviously, it was a hard hit. It could have warranted some type of flag, but he led with his shoulder. Obviously, a little bit of helmet contact happened, but
like full speed, it looked like targeting.
Yeah, it did.
It was just a regular play, and I don't think you could call that in that situation. But it would have, if they would have got that, it would have extended the drive, and they would have put up 7.
They would have easily scored. Yeah, they were scoring off that. But
that play mattered too. And then you don't have them for the rest of the game. I know it was only like a quarter and some change, but.
It would have been big time plays. He probably would have been in there making, because obviously 100 yards and 2 catches or 2 touchdowns in the first half. Yeah, it obviously made a difference. But got to add our guy Mo. Mo Jr. left, but we got our guy Mo in here. I know it's not the greatest start to the year for you, but glad you still repping. Got the hat on, got the hoodie on. What we feeling like this morning?
Well, first off, besides being hungover, besides that, Happy New Year, y'all. First off, Happy New Year. Bro, this is the worst. Bro, this is literally one of the worst losses I've taken as an Ohio State fan. Only because we were supposed to win the game. Like, we played the best. This is the best Ohio State played all year. To me, it's one of the worst, but it's one of the best at the same time, because you look and you be like, this is where you question Ohio State coming into this game. Everybody thought it was going to be a blowout, this and that. And, bro, we lose by 1 point. Like, I couldn't ask.
Oh, no, it just went out. Yeah. Might have to plug it out and put it back in.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Hold on.
Yeah, you good. You probably can't hear us now.
Okay, can y'all hear me? My bad.
Yeah.
My son gonna turn the thing off, so I'm gonna just put him right here. So, bro, Ohio State. Listen, every question about Ohio State was answered last night. Like, are they a great team? 100%. They played like a great team last night, and to lose is like you lost to the better team. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. But that performance, I can't look at Ohio State and have a bunch of questions. Like, that's my biggest thing is I can't look at Ohio State. I can't question CJ Stroud. I can't question. I can't question. I can't question our run game. I can't question the receivers. I can't question Marvin Harrison Jr. Nothing. Like there's you can question the defense because you gave up 42 points, but we knew the defense could be had. But at the same time, you could question every player on Georgia's defense as well. I mean, we put up 41 points.
Big time, yeah.
Bro, when you walk away from the game, and if you're just being realistic, like Ohio State did everything to win. And so losing that game, it hurts worse because it's like we did everything we had to do. Like we literally, like CJ Stroud ran the ball. Thad said it earlier. Bro, Stroud ran the ball. Like we ran RPOs and Stroud kept it and bent the corner and ran the ball. And I thought that was almost impossible. Like this is how impossible I thought it was. I gamble on Prize Picks. Prize Picks had Stroud over 1.5 rush yards.
Oh my God. Bro. That's wild.
And I didn't take it because I'm like, no, there's no chance. He gets over 2 yards rushing, bro. There's no chance. And he had what, 40? I think he had like 45.
52, I think.
He had it, yeah.
Yeah, it was something out of the ordinary, but and it was one of those, like, the way they played, I felt like they had to play. Like, you got to leave all your chips on the table. No. You got to come out there. You got to come out there and just nothing can be undone. Like, bro, if we would have ran double reverses, I wouldn't have been surprised because I was looking at Ohio State and I'm like, we got to play our game or we got to play a different game. And we did. And CJ Stroud ran the ball. And so what I will say is while everybody was talking about what Bryce Young did yesterday, I think CJ Stroud put himself in the conversation as far as could he be the number one pick? Because that player you saw yesterday is easily, to me, the player you saw yesterday is easily the best quarterback in college football. Like we watched the best quarterback in college football yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I was just encouraged by the performance. Like he led the team in carries. Has that ever happened in his career?
No.
No way.
12
Hell
carries.
no.
12 carries.
Hell no.
Ain't no
And like
way
I was saying earlier
yeah.
before you came on, just a threat that puts on the defense. Maybe they have to put a spy on you. They drop one less person in coverage to worry about you. It changes the world and it makes it so much tougher on defenses. So shout out to CJ Stroud. And I said that before you came on too. Like I'm not saying he's going to be the number one pick, but he moved himself into the top 3 guarantee. He's not getting out the top 3.
I watched. Sure. I was watching when you said that, and I'm like, it's not. He didn't. I agree with you. Like he may not have proved that he's better than Bryce Young, but boy, God, he just created a conversation.
And to light up UGA like that, come on now.
Yeah, I'm about to say
he's willing to run. That was the question. Was kind of CJ Stroud's heart.
Yeah, okay, softness. That's what y'all been talking about all year.
That man showed, and I've said even on my show before the game, I said like maybe I'm just hoping that Ohio State plays their best game, and maybe we haven't seen their best game yet, and maybe I'm just crazy for thinking that it's possible. That was the best game, and now you could tell me injuries, and I know Marvin Harrison Jr. got hurt. I know, a lot of things happened. I know we lost Cade Stover early in the first quarter, but at the end of the day, like, bro, they played their best game. And so I can't be mad. Like I was upset, I was mad, but not in a way like normal. Like any other Ohio State game. And we lose, like when we lost to Michigan, like, bro, it's depressing. We're not there. But with this game, it's like we lost, but and you can I blame the kicker, first off. Yeah. Like I do blame the kicker now to the extreme that people are gonna take it. No. But Thad said it best. You have one job. You spend 30, 45 minutes a day kicking field goals. Like you have one job in this year in football, period. College football, NFL. Bro, this is the worst kicking I've seen ever. Like ever. Like this is the most games I've seen winning or losing by kickers. Like too many games have been lost by kickers. And you have one job. Nobody asks you to hit. Nobody asks you to participate in these drills. The only thing you have to do is participate in conditioning and then kick field goals. That's it. Like, that is your job. Dad knows more than anybody. He played college football. Like, bro, the kickers are off to the side. They don't do anything.
Just butt kick all day.
Kick. Like, that's what you do. And you don't even do it all day while we be out there for 3-4 hours practicing. Wow. These kickers got 30, 45 minutes of practice, bro. Just kicking field goals. And if you miss the field goal, missed field goals happen. It is what it is. But barely missing and shanking it the way he did is two different things. And he shanked the field goal. Like, you had an opportunity to win the game and go to the national championship, and you gave your team zero chance. That's my part, is like, if he barely missed it, it's like, it happens. Kickers do barely miss field goals. But for you to shank the field goal, like, you literally gave your team zero chance to win the game. So it is on him. He has to hang that on his head. He has to look at everybody and know, you can point out the defense or whatever because they gave up 42 points, but they still did what they were supposed to do. In moments where they needed to make stops, they did. And they gave their offense a chance. You know, I know Georgia scored and it was an opportunity for us to score, but like they gave the offense every opportunity to score. And so, bro, we did that. We put you in position. Everybody did their job to put the guy in position to, now it's your turn to do your job. That's what we did. You're down 1 point. You need a field goal. CJ Stroud put his team in position. All the offensive line, the receivers, everybody. Ryan Day made the right calls. You put your player in the position to do his job, and he couldn't do it. So
I got a question for you though, real quick before you go on. All right, so obviously they were in position to kick it, but like, do you feel any type of way about the calls after CJ Stroud's run? Do you think Ryan Day should have been a little bit more aggressive? But like people say, he's one of the better kickers in the Big Ten or the country, right? So you have faith in him, but like, should they have been a little more aggressive to get a little closer to make it easier?
Yeah, they had enough time.
Yes and no. Like, yes, you always like if you could have made a play call to get us 3, 4, 5 yards closer, yes. But at the end of the day, you believe in your kicker and you put him in a position where you've seen him make those field goals time after time after time. Like, I feel like Ryan Day knew where he needed to get to put his kicker in a position to make the field goal that he's seen him make time after time after time in games, in practice, in warm-ups, everything. So I feel like he had a mark and he met the mark, and then he left it up to his kicker to now complete. The job's not done until you kick this field goal. Complete your job, and he didn't do it. Yeah. Like, he didn't do it. You could be like, yeah, we could have made another play call to get us 5, 6, 7 yards closer, but at the end of the day, like, the coaches know better than we do as far as you've seen this guy kick this field goal from this many yards time after time after time after time. Because like Dad said, this is all they do in practice. The coach glances over there and sees him kicking a 60-yard field goal. Like, let's just be honest. The coach don't even pay the kicker no attention. You got a kicker, you got a kicking coach, and that's it. That's who you get the time for. And really, he's just watching you kick field goals. That's all the coach who coaches the kicker. That's all he does. He doesn't even talk to him about technique. If you can kick a field goal, you can kick a field goal. He just watches him kick a field goal. Sometimes he holds the ball for him to kick a field goal. Sometimes, but other than that, like, they're using I don't know what the thing's called, but we don't pay attention.
Stand,
the little stand. We don't pay attention. The kicker's like, but the head coach glances over there and sees him kicking from 60 yards and sees him make it. And he's like, oh wow, back to the offense or back to paying attention to the defense. But he got to where Ryan Day called every play right to get to where, and I don't care if it was from 30 yards, bro, he shanked it. Like, I don't care if it was a 30-yard field goal. He wasn't making that at the end of the day. Like, he shanked it completely. So I'm not sure if getting us closer I'm not sure he makes it because he completely shanked it. So, but God, this one hurts, bro. Yeah. Just talking about it, like, I went like straight to bed last night, and this one hurts. Like, just hearing y'all talk about it, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to get on here. Once you said, hey, if you want to get on, like, I'll send the link. I'm like, bro, I just want to vent a little bit. Like,
got to.
And hear y'all thoughts, because at the same time, like, there's nothing you can walk away and ask better from Ohio State. Like, what's the question? Like, okay, like I say, you could question the defense because they put up 42 points, but we knew the defense was going to give up points. We knew that. I expected a shootout. I called Ohio State winning the game 42-38. It almost came into fruition of us having the ball at the end of the game and having an opportunity to win it. And I felt like Ohio State was going to do it, but I thought it would be more in CJ Stroud's hands and we throw a touchdown as opposed to leaving it in the kicker's hands and we, have to leave it up to the kicker. But I would trust the kicker. I would call that play again 10 times out of 10 and I'd leave it in his hands. I wouldn't say like, oh, if we could do it again, let's go for a touchdown. Like, no, we're down 1, go for the field goal. You trust your field goal. You trust your kicker and he didn't get the job done. It is what it is. But anybody who sends death threats, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because they was already talking about that this morning. I'm like, bro, don't do that. Like,
you already know how it is.
At the end of the day, bro, it's a game. Like, and it was a great game. We lost. Both games gave us everything we wanted in college football, and you lost. Somebody has to win. Somebody has to lose. But don't threaten. Don't give the kicker a death threat.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably no consolation prize, but at least Michigan's not going to the national championship either. But
yeah, that's the only thing. But at the same time, now TCU played great yesterday. They brought all things out. Are we seeing the best national championship we could, though?
Nah.
Like, that's the only question is this the national championship that everybody wanted to see? I think you either wanted to see Georgia versus Michigan or Ohio State versus Michigan. I'm not sure that you wanted to see Georgia versus TCU. I mean, we're going to watch it, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're getting the best matchup. But shout out to TCU. Like, I'm not going to hate on TCU. They play great, and they deserve to be there, but I don't think this is the matchup that everybody wanted to see.
Yeah. Hey, sorry though, Mo, man. Like, I know you feel bad, but like, I feel like you're never gonna see this. Everybody, some people are gonna transfer, some people going to the draft. Like, you're not gonna get this same collection of talent together. I mean, you obviously are recruiting, but this team's not gonna be the same. You have to replace people, and I know you want to run it back. I'm pretty sure you want to run it back.
Man,
Pretty sure CJ want to run it back too.
if CJ Stroud said he returned, I would be I don't care what other Ohio State fans say about the 12 games prior. If he said he wanted to return and he feels like they could win a national championship with what we got and what our recruiting class is coming in, bro, I'd be the happiest person. But at the same time, I would look at CJ Stroud and be like, I don't know, bro. You might have put yourself in you might be a top 3 pick, bro. Don't be stupid. Like,
don't be dumb.
Yes, as an Ohio State fan, I would love for him to come back. But as a person who knows football and understands football and wants guys to get their money, like, bro, go get your bread.
Yeah.
Like, yes, a national championship would be great. And if you could bring us a national championship next year, you'd cement yourself as, one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback to play at Ohio State. If he wins a national championship, he probably would put himself above Justin Fields. But at the same time, go get your money. Like, just go get your money, bro. Like, go make your, what is it, $25, $30 million guaranteed as a rookie, as a top 5 pick. Go be a franchise quarterback for somebody. And at that point, I'll just be rooting for CJ Stroud to be somebody's franchise quarterback and have nothing but ultimate success at the next level. That's what I hope for. And then I know next year, we have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to be the next great Ohio State wide receiver.
Yeah.
Coming out of Ohio State. So that's where I'm at with it. But I appreciate y'all, fellas. I just had to jump on and vent a little bit, man. I'm gonna keep watching.
Sure.
But I appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Much love to y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man. Appreciate Mo for coming on as always. Like you said, definitely I felt like it was an opportunity to just let him kind of vent a little bit. It wasn't as hard as I was thinking. Obviously, more level-headed fan. Eventually, can't wait. As I know Jeff, came out and said something last night, but can't wait to check out, his book out. Yeah, his book out.
I can't hear you, bro. Uh-oh.
I ain't know I was muted.
It went out again. Oh.
All right, what about now?
Yeah, you're better now.
All right, bet. But now I can't hear you. I don't know what I did. We good?
I can hear you, but you can't hear me, right?
Okay. I can hear you. Can hear me, but I can't hear you. It's probably
you
me.
can't hear me.
All
but
right.
I can hear you though.
But like I was saying like, probably not getting the matchup that we all expected to. But if you can hear me, Thad, what do you think the chances are of TCU against Georgia right now?
It's gonna be tough, man. Like I said earlier, they came out in that 3-3 stack against Michigan, and Georgia's a power heavy team. They're gonna run the ball a lot too. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be a tough out, but TCU's been battle tested all year. They came back a lot against a lot of good teams. They prevailed, and they're gonna have to prevail again. Honestly.
Hold on, Thad. Check your mic. I don't know if everyone can hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh.
You're on mute now. There you go. Nah, I can't. It might just be me though. Hold on. All right. Can you hear me now? All right, but I don't know if I can hear you though, because I'm watching this live on the thing and I can't hear you on here. All right. Can you hear me now? All right, but I don't know if I can hear you though. Yeah, no, I can't hear you. I'm watching this live. All right, bet. Dang. Yo, this is what happens. Technical difficulties. We're gonna keep it rolling. Both our mics I know kind of messed up, but I'm about to see what to it. All right, since I know. Nah. How about to say, our wires are kind of janky sometimes. We might have to just move it around a little bit. I don't know what's going on. You can still hear me though, right? All right, cool. How about I say maybe we might have to just use like through the computer or something, computer sound. That might work. But yeah, I don't know. Like normally I like you would do something real quick and I could hear it, but I can't hear nothing at the moment. See what we can do. But yeah, I guess I said we'll figure out our technical issues for sure. But yeah, we'll figure out the issues. But chances right now, like I said, may not be the matchup we wanted, but it's the matchup we're gonna get. TCU, I feel like as long as Max Duggan can do what he's been doing all year, like I said, using his legs, making timely throws, protecting the ball, then they have a chance to win it. I don't think Georgia's defense is going to play as bad as they did yesterday, in my opinion, especially their secondary. But again,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. So I figured it was something quick that would be fixed. But like I was saying, I don't know. I know you were saying your thoughts. Obviously, going to get them again. But I was just saying, I think TCU, although it's not the matchup we want, I think they still have somewhat of a chance. Because I don't think Georgia's defense is going to play as bad as they did yesterday, especially their secondary. But I think Max Duggan throughout the year has shown he can do it on the ground and in the air. Like I said, he didn't get much help from his receivers yesterday, but I think again they won't play as bad as they did yesterday either. Like I said, it's going to be a tough matchup, obviously, against a Georgia secondary that is pretty good. Like I said, I don't think they'll have back-to-back performances like they did. So they'll probably tighten up things on their end, and then hopefully TCU, their receivers, do as well. But like you said, it's really, I think it's going to come down to the defense. Defensive line, are they going to make a change? They're going to make a switch. They're going to stay with the 3-3 stack and, be able to match up with Georgia's run game. Because when Georgia's running the ball, they're running the ball, and they're going to come at you. And, they're a powerhouse team. Like, they don't have to put it in the air. Obviously, they got, Bowers and Mitchell and, Aiden, all these other guys that can, get the ball to. But, when they find something that's working, if it's on the ground game, that's what they're going to stick to. So that's going to be, I guess the spot and place to watch for me, kind of like I said, what they do on the defense in that front seven. But offensively, like I said, I think they have a chance, to at least be in the game. But again, as long as they take care of the ball, but a timely mistake here and there, they could be on the other end of it this week, or not this week, in 2 weeks. Maybe with some pick sixes or some fumbles or whatever the case may be. But as long as they take care of the ball, I think Max Duggan has shown, he's a leader. He's been making timely plays, and he can get his team in the right spots and the right positions in order to, either be in games or win games. So, what do you think about this matchup?
I don't think it's a good one for TCU. Like I was saying earlier, they cannot. I know the 3-3 stack worked effectively, but I don't think they could work it running versus Georgia.
Yeah, it's not.
Georgia's offensive line. I mean, Michigan's offensive line is top tier, but I feel like Georgia's just better. They have. I don't think they have better backs, but they have a stable of backs. They'll throw a couple of guys out there, and in a way, no disrespect to TCU, but I feel like Georgia already feels like they had their toughest test. Like if they were to play Michigan, it'd be a different story. But what they just went through with Ohio State, I think we all think that Ohio State and Georgia is better than TCU. So I don't know if Georgia overlooks them, which I don't think they will. I think Kirby will get his guys up to play. But the only chance I think TCU has is if Georgia completely overlooks them. The way the receivers were not helping out Max Duggan yesterday, dropping passes across the middle that resulted in picks, that cannot happen because Georgia, even though Stetson Bennett had a couple of missed throws, a turnover too, he's not going to do that this game. I I think they're going to play a clean game this time. And if TCU, like, if they turn over the ball like they did, I think J.J. McCarthy is better than Stetson Bennett as an overall quarterback. Like, in the future, when J.J. McCarthy's done, he'll be a way better quarterback than Stetson. But he's not – Stetson's a veteran. He's been there, done that. He's 25. He's seen every defense. He's seen every look. He's not going to turn over the ball like he did yesterday. And TCU cannot capitalize. Cannot play around because Georgia will capitalize off almost every turnover. Like all those times that Michigan would get inside the 10 and settle for field goals, those first 3 field goals, they could have easily scored on all of those. Georgia, I feel like, will execute in the red zone. So
they're tease at those.
You got to clean it up just a little bit. But hey, TCU was resilient because every time Michigan came back, the momentum was changing. They could have easily laid down and folded, but they came right back and scored quickly. And they're able to run the ball. If they're able to run the ball, which they shouldn't because Jalen Carter's in the middle, TCU will be fine if they're able to run the ball. But I don't think they will. It's just not a good matchup, man. But, with the way the last couple of years have gone, people, it's all about the storyline, what people have gone through. Like Max Duggan was a 3-year starter, lost his job coming into the season, said I'm going to be the best backup in the country, and ends up, you're always one play away, but the starter gets hurt, replaces him, and he's in the Natty. So you never know. This could be the storybook ending. Because he could have easily put himself in the portal right after he didn't get the job. So shout out to him for staying down. And it might result in the Natty. But as of now, I know we're probably going to talk about it more on Friday. But right now, I'm thinking UGA about 10-14.
Yeah. Like you say, it's a lot going to depend on scheme and matchups and what they're going to do. But like you say, it could be a storybook. We've seen, I guess Cinderella stories like this before happen. Sometimes they come up short, sometimes they get the job done. But like you said, it's definitely going to come down to a lot of scheme, and then on both sides of the ball, but certain sides of the balls for each respective teams tighten things up. But like I said, got through technical difficulties, got through talking about the national championship and giving a little bit of a preview. Definitely going to talk about it a little bit more next week. But going to hit on our NFL slate of the day. Like I said, it's 2 weeks, week 17, 2 more weeks until playoffs start. We got some games that's going to involve heavy implications for playoff spots, playoff positioning that we got to get into today. Obviously, first up on my list was Dolphins Patriots, just because winner of this, I think, takes that last, that 7th spot in the AFC. Right now, the Dolphins hold it at 8-7, but without Tua, I think Teddy Bridgewater gets to start today. Who knows? That could be helpful. It could be hurtful in their chances. And obviously, the Patriots haven't had a great last few weeks. Have blown a few games, but they're still right in it, 7-8. Have an opportunity to take over that 7th spot. But what do you think about this matchup today? Who do you think wins, and who do you think slides into that 7th spot, at least for one?
All right. First to start off, I'm sorry if you guys don't know, I'm a Jaguars fan, so. What will work for me is for the Dolphins to lose today and then the Pats to lose next week. So even if we lose to Tennessee, we still get that 7th seed. There's a crazy way we can still lose to Tennessee next week and get the 7th seed. But I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I don't want to, but I'm going to. Teddy Bridgewater is a competent backup, and I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Mac Jones, since getting benched and getting his spot back, or not benched, missing a couple games and getting his spot back, hasn't been that great. They cannot push the ball down the field effectively. And obviously, we talked about coming into the season, the defensive coordinator calling offensive plays was not a recipe for success. And their offenses just look pedestrian, man. Like, I know they don't have that many weapons. I know your boy had that mishap a couple weeks ago, but like, they don't have the best receiving core in the league. They have some good tight ends. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are good, but they don't have that many weapons. And when you don't have a great play caller that can get the best out of your personnel, it's just not going to be too good. And that's what it looked like so far. It's disappointing. I'll say that. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, it is what it is. But I'm gonna take the Dolphins in a close one. The Dolphins have – I wasn't going to say Tua, but the Dolphins have had Belichick's number the past couple of years. And I know with the playoff spot on the line, I think they'll take care of business. But I would love to see the Pats win. I did like how they bounced back last week after being down 22-0 to the Bengals.
Yeah.
They got some young playmakers, but the offense, until the offense gets it together, I see no future, no hope for the Pats. Even if they make the 7th seed, they're a one and done. I think they're the.
Yeah.
I never doubt Belichick, but as long as Patricia is calling plays, I'm doubting them. So
Yeah.
I'm taking Dolphins in a close one, even though I do not want it to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go Patriots only because it's not much of it alive still, but I'm not going. I'm a bet on Belichick to get his team into the playoffs, and if he's in this type of positioning and spot, and obviously this is an important game to make that happen. So I'm gonna take them. Like you said, I like how they fought last week. And so the defense is still a team. The defense is still gonna keep them in games. Like you said, sometimes like they can be had, but like they'll keep them in games or keep it at a level the offense can at least try to put some points up on the board. But as long as they attack the ground game a little bit, like I like Stevenson, I like Harris, like they can do a lot of different things in the backfield. Mac Jones has to be a lot better though. He has to be a lot better, like a lot better. I mean, maybe I just don't watch the Patriots as much, but I feel like they don't use their tight ends as much as they should. Like I feel like they signed both those, both Smith and Hunter Henry, and just don't use them as adequately as I would think. Like I was thinking more so they're about to go back to Gronk and Hernandez type days but obviously Mac Jones isn't Tom Brady either. But like you said, they don't have that many weapons in the wide receiver game, but they got serviceable guys that should be able to help put points on the board. But like I said, it was really just in this type of position where Belichick could get his team in the playoffs. I just bet on him to do so. Like I said, he's going against a backup. Obviously, it's a serviceable backup, and he still has to deal with everybody else on that team. Waddles, obviously Tyreek Hill, and they got a plethora of backs as well that can make some plays. So, just betting on him to get his team in the playoffs. But I think it's a close one, probably 24-20, something like that. Patriots. But I'm gonna go, like I said, with the Patriots on this one. Next game that kind of has playoff implications. My sorry division with everybody with losing records. Basically, this is probably going to end up being the game that decides it. And it's really crazy, like, especially on the Panthers side, like really, really crazy. Coming into the year, we think Sam Darnold's maybe going to get another shot. Doesn't get a shot. They make a trade for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield comes in, plays terrible. They go to PJ Walker. PJ Walker looking okay, gets hurt. Did they go back to Baker for a little bit? I don't even remember.
They gave him a couple more weeks, and then they were going to make him third inactive. So he was like, might as well release me.
Release me, yeah. And then Sam Darnold's in the picture, and that's crazy now. And through all of that, they let their head coach go. I think they let somebody in the front office go. They trade Robbie Anderson. They let other people release other people, and they're right there, just one game away. They beat the Bucs. They're technically, they beat the Bucs. I don't know. I think the Saints still, yeah.
Beat them handily.
Yeah, the first time. So they beat them again. Obviously, they're going to be division leaders, and more than likely probably in that playoff spot. Because I forgot I think they would have to lose next week, and the Saints would have to win out for them to be in. Because I know they got the same record. I think the Bucs would have to lose again. But all in all, just a crazy ride for NFC South. Bucs obviously not basically a shell of themselves in the Super Bowl. And like I said, I have no clue how the Panthers are even in it. But who you got today? I'm gonna go Bucs just because. And again, it's more so like with the Belichick. I don't want to bet against Brady if he's in the position to get his team in the playoffs or get his team to a spot that they need to be. So I'm gonna bet on him. But everybody around him, both defense and offense, are just playing god awful this year. And I really don't know why. But I'm gonna go with Brady in this one, in a close one. But I think they get the job done and should cement their playoff spot. But who you got?
Man, this is a tough one because the Bucs have been awful this year. Like, I don't even know if they should feel good about like making the playoffs. Obviously, they want to make the playoffs, but they haven't done anything to deserve a spot. It's a tough one because I hate betting against Brady, but the Panthers, ever since Steve Wilkes has taken over, it's like the culture change. A culture change is shifted. They're running the ball crazy. Like, they got all those picks from McCaffrey, and then they found that they have a two-headed monster in Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman. And they ran for – I gotta look at this. Last week they ran for
The
320
something.
yards.
Yeah.
320 in the NFL game. Like some running backs don't even run for that in the entire season. But, like, I don't know. They found a recipe for success. And Sam Darnold, you know, the knock on him, he's always been turning over the ball. He's not turning over the ball. Even though he's being the game manager, he's not being a Mahomes or somebody that's taking over the game. But he's doing what he has to do. And when you play behind a good defense like that, that's all you have to do. Don't turn over the ball. Make some timely plays. And the Panthers have shifted. I will say, though, I'm a little scared for the secondary matchup because Jace Horn, one of the top young corners in the league, he's out for a little while.
Yeah.
And Mike Evans, you know, him and Brady haven't been on the same page the entire season, but, you know, they have a connection, so they could hit it back off just like that. And that's the only thing I'm worried about. But it's a tough matchup for the Bucs. If they can't stop the run, their run defense is not what it used to be with Vita Vea, but it's a tough one. I'm going to take the Bucs, but I would not be surprised if the Panthers win and then, you know, put a lot of pressure on the Bucs for Week 18. So
yeah, I don't know.
We shall see. But this is a tricky matchup. The Panthers are, even though the Panthers are not very good and they don't have the best record, they are playing some pretty good football. And I think Steve Wilkes should get retained as head coach.
Yeah,
and get another shot at it because, you know, his first go round wasn't very fair at all. So
yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one to watch for sure. But like I said,
tough to watch, but it should be an interesting game. But it will be tough to watch. I would not be tuning into this one.
Yeah, I will just. I guess it might just be on my TV because obviously the area I'm in. But lastly, another one that has playoff implications. Obviously, Vikings have all but wrapped up their spot in the division, but the Packers, although they've been, you know, in the news throughout the entire year, been playing, you know, pretty bad the entire year. They're on a winning streak. They're in position to possibly slide into that last playoff spot as well. They're in the hunt. Obviously, they need a little bit of help, and they have to win out. But obviously, a very important matchup, a divisional foe, divisional rival. And like I said, just a game that can help them slide themselves into the playoffs as well. It's a tough one for me. Because like I said, the Vikings, even though they haven't done it as much this year, we always have known them to be a hot starting team and fall off the cliff. And they haven't fully done it, but they've done it in ways.
It just went out again, bro. I don't know why. That's so weird.
You can hear me?
Yeah. You can't hear me, though?
All right, cool. Now I can't hear you. I don't know why.
Honestly,
I hit the thing, but you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, my thing is, I can hear you.
I got you. Yeah, it was my fault. I hit my little thing, but they haven't done it in the same way as like last year. They just fall off a cliff. They just start losing games, getting blown out, just looking terrible. Like this year, they look like that in spurts of the game, but they still are able to stay in the game and come back and win the games. And it's wild, but like I said, even being down 33-0, like that's the type of shit I'm talking about. But then they're still able to fight back and win games like that. But I don't know. I think I'm sounding like a broken record today. I think Rodgers and his team can get it done today. Like that defense is starting to play a little bit better.
They are.
The young guys are starting to figure it out a little bit as well at receiver. And you know, obviously they still got their run game. They still got AJ Dillon. They still got Aaron Jones that can make timely plays. But I think the receivers stepping up and the defense starting to, you know, play a lot better has, you know, obviously put them in this position and have them on this win streak that they're on. And obviously another game, I guess, where I'm going to bet on the veteran that's been there before. And if he's in the position to get his team in the playoffs, he's going to get it done. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked that great this year by any means. I think he's had the most picks since I don't even know when. I know he has double digits for sure. But
first time in forever. He does. He's not a double-digit pick guy at all.
Ever. Like I think he has like 11 or something like that, 11 or 12. But I'm gonna bet today is just, I guess, betting on the old heads to get it done if they're in the position to get it done. So another veteran, like I said, that, you know, divisional rival. Normally he's owned this whole division this whole time. He's been obviously in the division, been a starter. He's owned, you know, the Vikings. He's owned really everybody. But you know, this year's been a little bit different. But I'm gonna bet on him one more time to own the team, to get his team into the, you know, the spot that they need to be in, vie for a playoff spot. But who you got in this one?
I'm taking the Packers. I'm gonna ride the momentum. They've been playing a little better. You know, it only matters what you're doing after Thanksgiving or from November on. You know, the first half of the season is cute, but when teams are, what really matters is November and December football. That's when teams are finding out who they are through all the adversity that they go through over the course of the season. And the Packers, you know, they started slow, but they're finding their footing. They got Dobbs back. Got some guys just making timely plays. They could have easily lost that game. Obviously, with Tua getting a concussion, I did see the concussion happen live, and I thought something was up. I think it had something to do with, you know, him missing throws and stuff, but Packers are playing good football. I would like them to get Aaron Jones involved a little bit more because when you have that two-headed monster like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the defenses. And when you got A-Rod, you know, that can make any throw on the field, it just makes it tough to stop. But A-Rod's looking better. He still was, I wouldn't say he wasn't seeing the field, but there were some plays where like guys were open and he was missing them, but showed he was A-Rod. He made a couple great throws to my guy Mercedes Lewis. I don't know how he's still playing former Jaguar.
I was like, bro, what? When he caught one of the touchdown passes, I was like, I thought he retired like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, he's a veteran. Wild. But the Packers are I think they're getting in the playoff form in a way. Like there's still a way they can get in. If they win both games and the Commanders lose the game, they're in the playoffs. And for all the times Aaron Rodgers has, you know, blown leads or choked in the playoffs, I think this is one of the years where you don't kind of want to see them. They could be an upset. Not saying they're going to win the whole thing because I don't think they are, but they could upset somebody. But I'm looking forward to the corner matchup. I will say that. I do have the Packers winning, but Jair Alexander calling Justin Jefferson's performance a fluke is a little crazy. Jair is a very good corner, but calling Jefferson's performance a fluke when he has the most yards, I think, in the first 3 seasons ever. He blew Randy Moss's record out the window. Might get 2,000 as a receiver.
That's what I'm about to say. He's going to get 2,000 as a receiver. That's crazy.
Can't really call that a fluke, but I am looking forward to the matchup because Jair is a very good corner. So, but yeah, we will see. You know, it's in Lambeau, so I think that will play a part in it as well. But I'm looking forward to the matchup. This is a playoff matchup, but I'm taking the Packers.
Got the Packers. Cool. I think, like I said, I'm going to go with the Packers as well. All old heads today. Belichick, Brady, and Rodgers for me. So. And next, kind of like I said, just want to hit it a little bit before we kind of move on to our pick'ems and everything. Obviously, just talk about maybe a game to watch. I know for you, obviously, you're going to be keeping a close eye on the Jaguars, even though they play Houston. They should handily, win that today so they can focus on next week. The Titans, pretty much, for the division. Y'all play Houston today, right?
Yeah. We haven't beat them in a long time, though. I think they beat us 9 straight, bro. Sad. 9 straight.
9 straight?
Yes.
What? Oh yeah, they beat y'all earlier this year too, didn't they?
They're only 2 wins in the division.
Yeah, I was say they had 1 win for a minute besides last week. Was
I know if we lose today, I know something, man.
I shouldn't. That's crazy. Hopefully I don't. But like I said, I know game to watch. Like I said, I know there's a few other games that have a little bit of playoff implications or just seeding in general, like Buffalo, Cincinnati. Like if Cincinnati beats Buffalo, and then obviously if Chiefs take care of business today, they'll be the number 1 seed instead of the Bills. And I think Cincinnati would probably be technically the number 2, right? Because they had the head-to-head win and they had the same record. So things like that, obviously. And who else really has it? I mean, Jets and Seattle, technically, they have a playoff
for seeding. We have the tiebreaker over them, but any team that's in the ALC playoff hunt, I need them to lose because obviously – I'm speaking into existence. We're going to win the division, but if something crazy happens and we lose next Sunday, and we have to win this week first, but if we win this week and lose next Sunday, there's a way we can still get in. But I'm looking forward to the Cincinnati-Buffalo game, Seattle Jets, obviously, and then I would say Baltimore-Pittsburgh. This is a little selfish of me, but we haven't been on Sunday Night Football in a long time, so if the Ravens, I need the Ravens to lose. If the Bengals win and the Ravens lose the division, it doesn't matter. But if the Bengals lose and the Ravens win, week 18 they play, it comes down and the winner takes the division. And maybe Lamar's coming back, so they want to put him on primetime. Maybe they won't put him on Sunday Night Football twice, but I need to avoid every scenario where that happens. I need the Jags on Sunday Night Football. But honestly, the game to watch is the Monday night game. It's probably the best primetime game of the year. I know everybody's going to be locked into that. I know we're going to talk about it when we do the pick'ems, but there should be fireworks everywhere. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to be one of the matchups of the year for sure. And they both, in
Doing
playoff
good.
form.
Yeah, doing good.
and both teams are on little winning streaks of their own as well. So definitely going to be a good game to watch. But yeah, next, like I said, obviously got to hit on our pick'ems. Obviously we've already picked a few of these: Dallas handled Tennessee, Arizona, Atlanta. This would be a game I would like for us to lose, but they're on like their fifth quarterback, bro. I don't even remember who's starting today. Like it's not even McSorley. I don't know
It's
who is starting today.
You can keep going. I forgot his name.
I
He's played
forgot
for a
his
couple
name too.
teams. I forgot
Yeah,
his
I
name.
know.
I think
when I
it's
saw it,
Wofford. Not Wofford. David Blau, I think.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So it's like I'm hoping we lose, but we're probably not going to lose because this is exactly what we do. We once we're out of the playoff race, we start to win the rest of the game. So we're probably going to win today, and then depend on whatever the Bucks do. Probably end up somehow finding a way to win next week too, and it's going to piss me off because we're going to go from having almost a top 5 pick to damn near 15, 14 something type pick. So it's going to it's really going to piss me off today, but I feel like they're going to end up winning the game. So I'm going to go with my team. I go with Atlanta. Saddens me to say, but who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta. Y'all, like, I asked you about Ritter last week because I feel like I haven't watched him as much as you, but I feel like he's getting a little better.
He's getting, he's progressed. Like I said, I took these last 4 games with a grain of salt because they're a tough place to be in. One, we were still in the playoff hunt, and your first starts in New Orleans in the Dome. Like that's not an ideal start, and you don't have like really anybody on the offensive side besides. I mean, you have no receivers besides Drake London really, and obviously like that's who he came in with. Like I figured he was going to zone in on him, so like you'll have no Kyle Pitts, you really have no other playmakers like that. So I took that with a grain of salt. Then obviously the next game we're playing in damn near negative degree temperatures in Baltimore. So I'm like, yeah, like that's a tough matchup as well. Then another, obviously a good team, tough place to play, tough weather conditions, like grain of salt. But obviously I think today probably is going to be a little bit of a coming out party. I think and he's starting to play like a lot better, like so decision making,
confidence.
Yeah, and then just like I said, just fin balls into tight spots. Like he's playing a lot, but he looks a lot better. I would just like that's all you want to, I guess, really see.
Yeah, honestly, obviously he's not Mahomes, but with a quarterback like that in the first year where the team's struggling and all that, you're just looking for signs of growth.
Something you can build around for next year.
Him getting better game by game. And then I will say this because I was home for that. So I was watching your game on a little side TV because that was the game I got on YouTube TV. So I was watching y'all, man. The refs were not on y'all side. I don't know if
they
paid
was,
them, but it
bro,
was some
I was
awful calls
like
in the game.
terrible calls, bro. I'm like, wow. Like
terrible. Our had reasons to be hot. Like those were game altering.
Bro, I've never seen a flop in football before like that. Like off the block, like bro had wasn't holding him on. He literally did this, and then bro just fell back, and they called holding on the touchdown. Like that really, we had no chance to have any type of momentum. Like you said, every time we did something like scored or like big play, bring it back. But yeah, it definitely was crazy. But yeah, I think today's gonna be
I got Atlanta.
You got Atlanta? Yeah, it's gonna be the coming out party today. I think he's gonna play pretty good today. Chicago, Detroit. Detroit pisses me off. Like, how you go and beat the Vikings and then next week you turn around and you getting your tail beat in by who they lose to? I forgot who they lost to, but they weren't really supposed to lose the game. I thought they were gonna win, but I'm gonna go with Detroit on this one. Obviously, divisional matchup. They're at home. These type of games. Obviously, I just go with the home team. But I think it's gonna be a good game. Justin Fields is another quarterback. Well, I guess it's play calling. They're starting to play. Obviously, call plays more so surrounded to what his strengths are, and he's playing a lot better. I like what he's doing there. Obviously, they have something to build on. Got Chase Claypool, so hopefully a whole year with him will do them some good. Hopefully, they're able to get some other weapons around him next year as well. But I'm gonna go with Detroit in this one, but in a good game. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it quick. I'm gonna take Detroit. They're gonna bounce back. They play way different at home than they do on the road. I don't know, it's night and day, but you're right about Fields. I'm not willing to say I was wrong yet, but he's playing much better. He's making some big time throws, and obviously we knew what he was as a runner, but it seems like he's getting better and better every weekend. This all season is going to be big for the Bears. You just want to go into 2023 healthy, and just keep continue to grow. Fields is growing, so surround him with some better players in the offseason. I think you have a little bit to look forward to in Chicago. So I like what they're doing.
And then we got Denver, Kansas City. Kansas City. Sure, that's a quick one.
Kansas City. It's not going to be as quick though this time.
Really?
You know, when people get fired, it seems like the team always comes out just a little. I wouldn't say like inspired. I don't know what it is, but they just play better. And I feel like Russell Wilson's going to have his best or his second best game of the season. They're still going to lose. Hear me out on that. But they're going to play much better in this game. I would take this. I would take whatever the spread is. Take Denver. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's true. I forget. We always talk about it's the phenomenon of when someone gets fired, someone gets hurt, somebody, like just somebody loses their job, somebody gets traded. Like it's just whatever that phenomenon. When something bad happens with the organization, something good happens that next week. Like you said, it's probably gonna be a close game, but I'm still taking Kansas City, obviously. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we get the rust that we're normally used to seeing. We never know. But I think I don't know if it was fake or not because Twitter, everything you can't even tell no more who's verified, who's not verified, all this and that. But Jerry Jeudy actually stood up for Russell Wilson. I think this past week as well. So
I love it.
Who knows? They may make this something. And maybe it was hatchet all along. But New England, Miami, we already both went. Well, I went New England, you went Miami. Indianapolis Giants. I guess I'm gonna go the Giants. I don't really want to. But
if you watch that Monday night game, I'm not picking the Colts no more. All their quarterbacks suck. Their O-line is okay, but everybody was holding the ball. Everybody they put in is throwing picks. Foles, Matt Ryan. It's just bad. Like,
it don't matter, bro. Yeah.
They're not good. They're going quarterback. I know they have some other needs. They need skill players, but they're going quarterback or they're signing somebody because it's fine. Y'all can do that. You can do it because you're in the AFC South, but man, y'all need some help. That was a tough watch. Like that might have been one of the first games where I'm like, man, like I'm about to turn basketball on. Like I do not want to watch this Monday night football game. It was bad. But yeah, Giants by 10. Daniel Jones is playing much better. They played it was a tough way to lose to the Vikings last week. But Daniel Jones getting better. Dayball's getting the most out of him he can. And I think he'll be playing for the Giants for a couple more years. Not saying he's there for another 7 to 8 years, but I think he earned himself at least another year or two for sure.
Yeah. Philly, New Orleans. I'm gonna go Philly. It could be a really good game though, or it should be. It could be. It should be and could be. I don't really know. New Orleans is so up and down this year as well. But they obviously have a defense that can keep winning the games, and offensively, when Andy Dalton takes care of the ball and just gets the ball to playmakers' hands like Juwan Johnson exploding onto the scene. Alvin Kamara, if he has a decent game, like they can put up points. I don't know. Like it could be a good game, but I still think. Hold on, is Jalen playing this week?
No. I wouldn't play him until week 18. I will play him in week 18, but not this week.
Last week, yeah. But we saw what Minshew did last week, so it's still obviously a very, very competent team. He's a very competent quarterback, and he can win this game. I think I'm gonna go with Philly. Obviously, I never really pick New Orleans unless I have to. I'm going
with Philly. They're gonna play a little better than they did last week. And Minshew, like you said, he's more than competent. A couple of plays. All right, the first pick was on him, but the second one, the corner just attacked the ball harder than the receiver. And they could have won that game. Like he lit up I wouldn't say he lit them up, but they were not stopping Philly easily. He was dropping a lot of dimes, and Devontae Smith had a real good game. He made a lot of crazy catches. But yeah, the Philly's in good hands with Minshew as a backup. I can't think of this off the top of my head because I would have to sit down and think about it, but he might be the best backup in the league or one of the best backups in the league.
Yeah, so, at least top 3. I can't think of really.
So Philly gonna bounce back, and they want that number 1 seed. They need to clinch that division because if they lose out, Dallas will get it. I think
exactly. So, yeah. Tampa, Carolina. You went Tampa, right? You went Carolina.
I went Tampa, but I really don't expect them to win. Yeah.
Yeah. Cleveland, Washington. Deshaun is. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cleveland too. It's understandable why Deshaun looks so bad, but they're playing the long game. They're playing the long game.
They were preparing for, unless they were going to sneak into the 7th seed, which they could have if they won, but they're preparing for 2023. They'll be okay. I'm not 700 days off. Like it's football. It's the best. You're playing against the best in the world. You're not playing against some little rec league team. So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland.
Jacksonville, Houston. I'm gonna go with
Don't
your
even need to
squad.
talk about it, man. This is not. If anybody's listening that's a Jaguars fan, we need to lock in. We cannot play around. Houston has only won 2 games. They're gonna have the number 1 pick, but they have busted our ass for the last 4 years. And I honestly get tired of it. Like it started with Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson and Arian Foster, and then it doesn't matter who they have playing quarterback. It's like they always give us fits. So we need to lock in and ride this momentum into the playoffs. So I know this game doesn't even matter, but we need to. When you're a young team, you need to stack wins, stack the confidence. So I'm going Jags by 10. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville as well. Hopefully, y'all win. Every time I've picked y'all this year, I don't think y'all have won anytime. But I'm gonna go with y'all. San Fran, Vegas.
Oh boy.
San Fran.
I
don't even know.
I'm sorry, Stidham. I'm going San Fran. I'm sorry to have your first start. I wouldn't say first NFL start, but first start in a long time versus the best defense in the league and one of the best defenses we've seen in the past couple of years. So
yeah,
they do everything good. They tackle well. They do every single thing well at all 3 levels. So this is gonna be a rough game for him. But hey, maybe he'll get a little spark.
Nah, no spark.
No
it's
spark?
over with. Not with that defense. That shit. There is something serious. Jets, Seattle. I'm gonna go with Seattle. They obviously haven't looked like we knew they wasn't going to sustain what they were doing in the beginning of the year anyway. But they've played close games since then. Like they haven't been able to fully put it together and finish them. But I think they can do that against the Jets. But I mean, the Jets do have Mike White this week, so we know that defense is really, really good. And then offensively, they just really need a different quarterback, so they could easily come out with a win as well. But I'm gonna go with Seattle on this one.
I'm gonna just be different for the pick 'em. Since we have the tiebreaker, I'll take the Jets. This game's really a toss-up, though. If they win this game, I think they were already kind of permanently moving on from Zach Wilson. But if Mike White comes in and wins in Seattle, a tough place to play, and just looks like the normal Mike White we saw the past couple of weeks before he got hurt. I think he's their quarterback for next year, just to start. I think they still try to go get somebody, a Jimmy G or somebody that's on the market, maybe even a Derek Carr. But I'm going to take the Jets. I like the way they look on Mike White. And it's just – we played them last week. I know it was raining, but we shut them out. Their 3 points came off of when Trevor Lawrence fumbled on the first drive, and they had the ball to start the 15. They went 3 and out. Other than that, they did nothing. And then they put in Tebow's cousin, and he was able to – do a little bit for a second, but man, that offense needs some work, and they have the roster. Like when you have a defense like that is that good, it is disappointing when you get poor QB play, and then when you project Zach Wilson to be your franchise and he's everything but that, it's rough.
Yeah, big time. Minnesota, Green Bay. I went with Green Bay. You went with Green Bay too?
Yeah, it's at home. This is a playoff game for Green Bay. The next 2 weeks are playoff games.
Yeah. Chargers, Rams, Chargers. It could be a close game. The only reason I'm going, I just went Chargers just because, but obviously it's technically a home game for both teams, honestly.
You're right. Chargers, because they already locked up the playoffs, but they might go for that 5 seed. I pray we don't play them though. I want to play the Ravens and not the Chargers. I will say that, but yeah, I'm going Chargers.
You said you want to play the Ravens besides the Chargers.
Yeah,
I guess it depends on the type of Ravens team you're going to get. Obviously, look, we're expecting.
I want Lamar coming back his first week back in almost 2 months. I'd rather have that.
Yeah, that's true.
With no offense, no weapons besides Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I'm not worried about D-Jack or Demarcus Robinson. So yeah, I'd rather do that than play Herbert. And we already beat the crap out of them early in the season, so that's going to be in the back of their head. And I'm good. And they got Bosa back. I'm good.
Oh, true.
I'm good.
Pitt, Baltimore. I'm gonna go Baltimore. Yeah.
I will say this, bro. I don't know if we talked about Kenny Pickett too much. He did start off rough, throwing a lot of picks and turnovers and stuff, but he just, I don't know. I like him. I honestly think he's going to be a pretty solid quarterback in this league. Like his confidence, how he sits in the pocket, makes some of those big time throws, and he's athletic. And they don't have he doesn't have bad weapons. Like George Pickens is not emerging, but he's going to be a good pro. You got Deontay Johnson. You got the Fryer move. Najee Harris is finally hitting the hole, and he's not dancing as much as he was. So you got some weapons, and I don't know how Mike Tomlin does it. They always start out. They might start out slow, but he's always gonna find his way right to close to 500. Like
Yeah,
he's like,
they
I'm
at
not
least
going
gonna
below
be in
500.
somewhat talks. Yeah, somewhat talks of like playoffs. Somewhat talks, like you said, of just being decent team, like 500 type team.
Yeah, I
But
like it though.
yeah, I'm about to say hopefully, because if they lose, then I think this is the first time he won't have a winning season. But I'm gonna still go with Baltimore. At home, fairly even type matchup, given the circumstances. So I'm gonna go with that. Even though they've really had their playoff spot wrapped up, just really seeding. So I think they would want to win. I think obviously for the reason that you said, I think they would want to win. I think they more so would want to face y'all than whoever the third seed is going to be out of Buffalo, Cincy, and Kansas City. So I think Baltimore should win this one. Buffalo, Cincy.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Game of the week. I don't even know, to be honest. I want to go with Buffalo, but I think I'm gonna take Cincy. It's just something about the way they've been playing last few weeks. Their defense is really them, like how they're rounding into form. Like they're becoming really, really scary. And then obviously offensively, like you get Chase back. You got the three-headed monster at receiver. Even when Mixon was out, Perrine was eating. So it's like everybody's starting to up their level a little bit, and they look a lot better than even what they look like going into the little playoff run they had last year, in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna go Cincy this one. They're at home too, obviously against a big time AFC rival that they're vying for a playoff spot as well. Like I said earlier, they beat Buffalo. They have the head-to-head matchup over them, and I think next week it would come down to whoever wins to have that second seed. So I think they're hungry. They're looking at chops, and they want this win. So I think I'm gonna go with Cincy on this one.
Yeah, I gotta go Cincy with you too, bro. Like you said, the defense, man, like they were never known for defense, but if you watch them play, like they don't have too many guys that all pros, Pro Bowlers, but they play well together. The D line is good. There was a stretch in the earlier parts of the season where they didn't allow a second half touchdown for like 5 straight weeks. And Josh Allen, he's been good, but he's been careless with the ball. Especially some of the picks he had last week were kind of crazy because I watched that game. And if you do that to Cincy, you're going to lose. I know Justin Fields is up and coming, but he's not Joe Burrow yet, and he doesn't have the weapons that they have. So I think it's going to be a tough game, and they just can't turn over the ball. It's basically a playoff game, I would say. So I'm going to take Cincy. I think it lives up to the hype of Game of the Year, but I just think they can't match up. Like you can. It's so hard to stop Cincy because they can run the ball with Joe Mixon. You got a two-headed monster, 2 guys that are capable of running. Then you take away Jamar Chase, and then you got T. Higgins that could be a number 1 on some teams, and then Tyler Boyd is the best number 3 in the league by far. So
yeah,
just pick your poison. What are you gonna do? Hayden Hurst, I think he's coming back after being injured too. So the former Falcon, it's tough to stop. And it's crazy because I'm not saying we said it was a fluke last year, but I don't think people expected Cincy to pick right back where they left off, like being they're here to stay basically as an AFC contender. So
exactly. Because they had a slow start to this year.
Yeah, they did. It's the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, and everybody else, in my opinion. So this game should live up to the hype. But I'm gonna go Cincy. I know their crowd's gonna be rocking.
Yeah, they say it's definitely gonna be rocking. But yeah, that does it for the pick'ems this week. I actually before I think we started talking about this, I found out week 13. That's the only reason I didn't have y'all. That's the only reason I didn't have the pick'ems posted because I couldn't find week 13. I forgot we did a live show for it, and I remember I wrote down the picks, but I found it earlier in my notes. But next week, obviously, I'm gonna have those, and then the week after that, I'm gonna have the final results posted. But as always, we always keep it close. Like it'll be one week that we'll stretch it out. Like one of us has a bad week, but then the next week, I'll have a bad week. And then the week after that, you'll have a bad week. So it's like 1-2 games. I think it's like from last time I did, it's like a 2-game spread right now. So it'll be posted next week for sure. But that kind of obviously that does it. Earlier in the show, talked about college football playoffs. Had our guy Mo on. Sorry again to you and Jeff. It was a great season, though, great game. That brought us a lot to talk about, a lot of things that we're gonna remember for the next few years, college football wise. Probably one of the better games that we've seen in the college football playoff era. And then obviously hitting on the week 17 games and just playoff implications and everything. It's going to be a great slate of games today. And then we're excited see, how things shake up so we can, gear up for these NFL playoffs for sure. But real quick before we do get out of here, obviously I'm gonna shout out our sponsors in a second, but anything this week that grinds your gears?
Nothing really that grinds my gears, I would say, but I hope nobody after this week is against the playoff expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows when you give teams opportunities, they're not just happy to be there; they're ready to compete. TCU, everybody thought they were happy to be there, and they showed they were ready. They're a real football team, battle-tested football team. So, I guess it grinds my gears when people complain about keeping the format the same. I'm all for the expansion. And what else grinds my gears, man?
For sure on the expansion.
Oh no, I guess I can say this. Speaking off of what happened last night, just fans taking it too far. It's football. If you never played, you wouldn't understand the emotion and the time that goes into it and how much preparation these guys put into it. So when they lose, when they miss a kick, even though it is on the kicker, if they miss a kick or throw a game losing pick six or whatever it is, don't go making death threats and stuff because those people have families. If you ever played, you know how you feel after a tough loss, especially when you feel like it's your fault. So adding on to that with those crazy people that are sending death threats, it kind of pisses me off because I know you're not gonna have that same energy,
in person.
I would just say that grinds my gears. It's kind of annoying because me playing, I've had people say stuff about me in the stands and stuff, but it's part of the game. But the death threats is way too far.
Yeah.
People have families. Imagine if that's your kid being the kicker and people are sending him death threats. How would you feel? So
yeah,
I think that grinds my gears.
Wow, stuff. People are crazy these days for sure.
They take it too far. I get it. Maybe somebody messed up your parlay or your lifelong Ohio State fan, but talking about killing somebody over a football game is crazy.
Yeah.
How about you?
And I was actually being serious and actually saying it on whatever internet or mailing out a letter, whatever the case. People, it's crazy. When people. On ESPN, whatever, certain things be happening. People come on, whatever situation it is, they'll be like, yeah, I'll receive death threat letters, actual letters being sent. You really took the time to curate a letter and send it. And, that's mentally crazy. But yeah, it definitely grinds my gears. Well, for me, I'm gonna have to hit on my, I want to say the Atlanta fan base as a whole, because obviously it's basketball season too, so I'm watching my Hawks and. Luka is doing his thing, so I keep seeing stuff about Trey. They always want to bring Trey stuff in too when Luka's doing something. And obviously, we're not playing well, and we're in the news about coach getting fired and Trey not being a good teammate and all this other stuff. So it's really just the Atlanta fan base, but obviously that goes for the Falcons as well too. Same thing, like something happens, somebody does something or London fumbles the ball, they'll be like, "Oh, we should have went to go get another." Big time receiver like George Pickens, bro, what? that doesn't even it don't even make sense. And then people still talking about we should have went and got Justin Fields, all this, and I'm I hate my Atlanta fan base. I hate my Atlanta fans. They're probably more one of the they're fair weather fans. They're really not even fans. They're fans to talk shit about the team. It's really crazy to me. So that's what really grinds my gears. Every time somebody else does something on another team. Or one of our players does something that's not even crazy wrong. Always just wishing and hoping that we had somebody else, and that's why nobody likes playing in this city, because really ain't no true diehard fans, and they not riding with you, and they always want you gone or out of here. And I know, players are players. Obviously, they know to kind of block some of that stuff out, but they're people too. That type of stuff, not gets to you, but they gonna recognize it. They're gonna realize it. It's gonna affect them. At some point, all these rumors about Trey possibly won, the trades. One of the trades I saw, the Mavs have the best odds to trade for him. For one, basketball wise and front office wise, just general manager wise, that shit don't even make sense. I don't know what the hell they would give us to even equivalent for Trey. And one, you can't even do that because both of them are on rookie extensions. So you can't have two players on rookie extensions be on the same team. So I don't even know how that's even possible. So on top of the Atlanta fan base grinding my gears, I just thought about it. These blogs, Bleacher Report, NBA Central, all that type of stuff that be writing this shit up, they be pissing me off too, because that don't even make sense. You can't even do that. How they got the biggest odds and you can't even have both those type of players on the same team. So there's a lot of things. Honestly, sports, I'm just hoping sports get better in general for me this upcoming year. Atlanta fans, please stop being so rash. Atlanta teams that are my teams, obviously I'm not a Braves fan, please do better. Let's get to work. Let's get in the lab. Like Hawks, let's get back on track. Let's get healthy. Falcons, let's draft well. Terry, come on, let's draft well. Let's get into the lab. Let's get right. And let's just be better this year. Like, I think it's time to just be a better city, be a better team or team organization, have better teams here in the city. Like, there's no reason why we should not be good. Like, there's no reason for it. Well, Hawks wise, we're not good because they don't want to spend money. Falcons wise, we just got a curse over us. So maybe if we can just break that this year somehow, I would love that. So that's what really grinds my gear, Atlanta fans. But also, let's have some hope this year. I think we can. I think we could turn things around. 2023 just sounds like a very positive year, hopefully. But like when you say like stuff sounds like a positive year, shit goes to shit. I clearly remember saying that for 2020, and obviously we didn't know what was ahead, but like, you know, that shit didn't turn out how we thought it was going to turn out. But yeah, man, that's what grinds my gears, but also what I have hope for in the future. But real quick before we do head out, obviously, like I said before, shout out to Prez. I saw him watching and commenting. Shout out to Mo as well. Shout out to everybody on Off the Ball Network. And obviously, shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek. If you use the code Off the Ball, I believe for your first time, you get $20 off any ticket, anywhere, any concert, any game, whatever they sell. You can get $20 off using our code Off the Ball. So definitely go there, do that, create a new account if you got to, and get you $20 off your next event. Shit, I probably could do that right now and get like a $10 ticket to go see the Falcons and Cardinals right now. I forget that they play at home today. But yeah, man, any last words before we leave out today, Thad?
Nah, man. You know, we've been doing this for a minute, but you know, me and you, I know we plan to be a little more consistent doing this, grow our viewers and our fan base in 2023, and just stay a little more dedicated to the podcast stuff. But you know, hope everybody has a great year. Write them goals down. Don't bullshit it. Don't do it for a week or two and then just give up on your goals. Stay persistent. Stay consistent. I feel like everything will work out. So you know,
for sure.
Peace and love to everybody that tunes in with us, and I hope you have a great year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like that said, definitely it's going to be a good year. I could feel it. It was one like coming into the year was one of those years. I'm not even like last night. Didn't even really feel like New Year's. It just felt like it's a continuation and something good is on the horizon. Like you said, we've been doing this for a minute, but I think this year we're going to take off. And what better way to do that than starting, a show on the very first day of the year. So, like you said, definitely going to get more consistent. Going to start adding on things to the show, expanding it, and showing it in other places as well. And we're just gonna get right this year. But like he said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, being on, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.